The signal came on a Tuesday morning. At first, the technicians at NASA's Deep Space Listening Station thought it was a glitch. Radio astronomer Greg Baker was about to go on his lunch break when the pattern repeated. This wasn't random cosmic noise. This was deliberate. "Someone call Director Edwards," Greg said, his voice barely above a whisper. Within hours, the facility buzzed with activity. Scientists, military personnel, and government officials crowded around monitors, watching as the alien message repeated itself. After decades of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, humanity finally had its answer. We were not alone. Dr. Olivia Summers led the team of linguists and mathematicians working to decode the message. After 3 sleepless days, they had their breakthrough. "It's some kind of mathematical sequence," Olivia explained to the assembled officials. "But embedded within it is a language primer. They're teaching us how to understand them." 2 weeks later, they received the second message. This one contained images, detailed schematics for a communication device capable of real-time interstellar conversation. The world's leading engineers worked day and night to build it. When the device was finally activated, the face that appeared on the screen wasn't what anyone expected. The alien, later identified as Ambassador Vox of the Trilaxian Empire, resembled a tall, slender humanoid with iridescent blue skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. "People of Earth," the translator interpreted, "we have been watching your civilization for some time. We come to welcome you into the Galactic community." Initial celebrations swept across Earth. News outlets ran constant coverage. Religious leaders debated the theological implications. Stock markets soared as companies anticipated new technologies. For a brief moment, humanity united in collective wonder. But Commander Alan Grant of the newly formed Earth Defense Force wasn't celebrating. Something about the Trilaxian communications felt wrong to him. "They're asking too many questions about our military capabilities and resource distribution," Alan told his superior officers. "Not enough about our culture or scientific achievements." His concerns were dismissed as paranoia until 3 months after first contact. The Trilaxian ambassador requested a private meeting with Earth's United Nations Security Council. The meeting was broadcast globally as a show of transparency. "Your species has potential," Ambassador Vox said through the translator. "The Trilaxian Empire spans 3,000 worlds across this galactic arm. We have guided many primitive species to enlightenment under our rule." "We appreciate your interest," replied UN Secretary-General Rosa Martinez, "but Earth will maintain its independence while establishing friendly relations." The ambassador's 4 eyes blinked simultaneously. "Perhaps I was unclear. This is not a negotiation. Your planet has resources we require and a strategic position we desire. Your civilization will join the Empire. The only choice is whether you do so peacefully or through subjugation." The transmission abruptly ended, leaving stunned silence in the chamber. Within hours, massive ships appeared in Earth's orbit, each one larger than Manhattan. Smaller craft descended toward major cities worldwide. Commander Grant was immediately summoned to the Pentagon's war room. "I need options," said President Carol Wilson. Her face grim as satellite images showed more alien ships emerging from what appeared to be wormholes beyond the moon's orbit. "Madam President, our conventional weapons may be ineffective against their technology," Alan replied. "But I've assembled a team of unconventional thinkers. If the Trilaxians think humans will surrender without a fight, they've gravely misunderstood our species." Dr. Summers burst into the room, clutching a tablet. "We've intercepted communications between their ships. They're referring to us as primitive bipeds and discussing how to divide Earth's resources. They're laughing at how easy this conquest will be." The president's expression hardened. "Then let's show them how wrong they are. Commander Grant, you have full authority to organize our defense. Humanity won't bow to tyrants, not even galactic ones." No one in that room knew it yet, but Earth's greatest chapter was about to begin. The Trilaxian warships struck without warning. Their energy weapons cut through Earth's atmosphere, targeting military installations first. New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, all hit within the first hour. Buildings crumbled. Power grids failed. Communications went dark across entire continents. Commander Alan Grant watched from the underground command center as red dots appeared on the global map, each representing a strike zone. The room smelled of coffee and fear as officers frantically tried to coordinate what remained of Earth's defenses. "Our jets are being swatted from the sky like flies," reported Air Force General Susan Parker. Conventional weapons barely scratched their hulls. The first wave of alien ground troops landed in major cities 12 hours after the initial bombardment. They moved with mechanical precision, 7-foot-tall soldiers in gleaming armor that seemed to absorb bullets. They established processing centers where humans were scanned, tagged, and sorted. Laborers to one side, potential threats to another. In Chicago, former Marine Sergeant Frank Miller watched from the shadows as aliens rounded up his neighbors. When the soldiers came for the children separately, something snapped inside him. Using his hunting rifle, he took down 2 alien guards, then led 23 people to safety through maintenance tunnels. Similar stories play out across the globe. Small victories amid overwhelming defeat. 3 days into the invasion, Lisa Chen, a tactical analyst with the EDF, noticed something while reviewing footage of alien troop movements. "Their formations never change," she said to Commander Grant over a secure channel. "They follow the same patrol patterns every time, regardless of terrain or resistance. They're not adapting. They don't think they need to," Grant replied. To them, this is just another routine conquest. Meanwhile, in a makeshift lab beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Olivia Summers worked alongside a team of scientists examining salvage alien technology. Their systems rely heavily on quantum entanglement principles, she explained to her colleagues. "But look at this pattern in their energy signatures. There's a fluctuation every 87 seconds. It might be a vulnerability." By the end of the first week, Earth's conventional military forces were decimated. The president and most world leaders were either dead or in hiding. But something unexpected was happening. The aliens were falling behind schedule. Their reports back to the Trilaxian command ship, intercepted and partially translated by human intelligence, showed frustration. The primitive bipeds weren't surrendering as expected. Instead, they scattered, hid, and struck back in ways the highly structured alien military couldn't predict. In Boston, subway workers derailed an alien transport. In rural Kenya, villagers lured patrol units into quicksand. Brazilian guerrillas used the rainforest to ambush collection teams. The Trilaxians responded with increased brutality. They leveled Rio de Janeiro when resistance there grew too strong. 5 million died in an instant. Frank Miller's resistance cell grew from 23 people to nearly 300 hiding in Chicago's abandoned subway tunnels. They scavenged alien equipment, learned their patrol patterns, and began striking back. "They think in straight lines," Frank told his fighters. "We need to think in circles and zigzags." On day 14, Commander Grant managed to establish a secure network connecting remaining military assets with civilian resistance groups worldwide. The network's name, Phoenix Protocol. "We're not fighting to win yet," Grant told the group leaders during their first hidden broadcast. "We're fighting to survive, to learn, to adapt." The Trilaxians conquered 1,000 worlds by following the same playbook. We need to force them to fight a kind of war they've never experienced. Lisa Chen's voice came through the channel next. "I've identified a potential weakness in their communication systems. If we can disrupt it even temporarily, we might blind them long enough to strike back effectively." The hunt for alien technology became priority 1 for every resistance cell. The underground war had begun. Humanity's desperate, creative response to an enemy that had gravely underestimated them. The mountain base hummed with activity as scientists Mary Winters and John Powell bent over their workbench. Salvaged pieces of Trilaxian technology lay scattered across the surface. For 3 weeks, they had worked nonstop, studying the alien materials. "Look at this," Mary said, holding up a small device. "Their shield technology responds to energy frequencies. If we can create something that shifts frequencies rapidly." John nodded excitedly. "We could potentially confuse their shields long enough to penetrate them." Outside the lab, Earth's resistance fighters were discovering something unexpected. Human military tactics were confounding the aliens. The Trelaxians relied on overwhelming force and advanced technology, but they fought with rigid, predictable strategies. In the ruins of Seattle, a group of 50 fighters led by former park ranger Steve Bennett used their knowledge of the urban terrain to devastating effect. They lured alien patrols into sewers where water damaged their equipment, set up ambushes in skyscrapers, and used the city's complex layout to disappear before reinforcements arrived. On the other side of the world, rice farmers in Vietnam flooded fields to disable alien ground vehicles, whose sensors couldn't distinguish between solid ground and water covered in floating vegetation. Colonial Administrator Drekthar, the Trelaxian officer in charge of North American operations, could not understand the failure to secure Earth on schedule. "These humans should have surrendered by now," he growled to his subordinates. "Their weapons are primitive, their technology centuries behind ours." "They fight differently than other species," replied his tactical officer. "They do not follow standard combat protocols. They adapt their strategies daily." Drekthar dismissed these concerns. "Increase the harvest operations. Double the punishment responses. They will break." But humans were proving remarkably difficult to break. In what remained of Colorado Springs, Lisa Chen had established a central intelligence hub, collecting reports from resistance cells worldwide. She noticed patterns in Trelaxian responses, their weaknesses, their blind spots. Most importantly, she confirmed her initial discovery. The aliens were dangerously inflexible. "They expect us to either charge at them directly or run away," she explained during a secure broadcast to resistance leaders. "They have no concept of guerrilla warfare. Their entire empire consists of species who either fought conventionally or surrendered immediately." Commander Grant, now operating from a mobile command center, built his strategy around this weakness. "We need to be water," he told his officers. "When they expect us to be solid, we flow around them. When they expect us to disperse, we freeze and strike hard." Mary and John's breakthrough came in the fourth week. Using salvaged components, they created a prototype shield disruptor that could temporarily neutralize Trelaxian defenses. They couldn't mass-produce it yet, but even a few working models could change the course of the resistance. The first major human victory came when Frank Miller's Chicago resistance targeted a Trelaxian supply depot. Using Mary and John's prototype, they penetrated the facility's defenses. Inside, they found stockpiles of harvested Earth resources and something more valuable, data terminals containing alien tactical information. Before destroying the facility, they downloaded critical intelligence, patrol schedules, communication frequencies, and command protocols. The raid cost the lives of 17 resistance fighters, but the information they gathered would save thousands. News of the Chicago victory spread through the resistance network, igniting hope. Similar operations were planned worldwide, each tailored to local conditions and resources. In his orbital command ship, High Commander Vec Thor of the Trelaxian Empire received Drekthar's concerning reports. For the first time in his 300-year military career, Vec Thor felt something unfamiliar: doubt. Perhaps, he mused to his executive officer, we have underestimated these humans. On Earth, as resistance fighters celebrated their first major victory, Commander Grant gathered his senior staff. This is just the beginning, he told them. The Trelaxians thought Earth would be just another easy conquest. It's time to show them how wrong they were. 2 months into the occupation, Earth's scattered resistance forces achieved something remarkable. A global communication network hidden from Trelaxian detection. Using a combination of old technology and captured alien components, Lisa Chen and her team created what they called the Ghost Net. The Trelaxians rely on quantum communications, Lisa explained to Commander Grant during a secure transmission. They don't even monitor old radio frequencies anymore. They think we're too primitive to organize globally. This arrogance became their weakness. Resistance cells coordinated across continents, sharing intelligence and resources through channels the aliens considered obsolete. Captain William Foster led the most daring operation yet, the capture of an intact Tralaxian scout ship. His team of former Navy SEALs infiltrated a landing zone in Arizona, using the desert's heat signatures to mask their approach. "Remember, we need this ship functional," Will reminded his team as they moved into position. "No explosives unless absolutely necessary." The raid succeeded beyond expectations. They not only secured the vessel but captured its pilot alive. The alien, initially defiant, provided valuable information when faced with humans who treated him with unexpected decency rather than the cruelty he'd been told to expect. The captured ship was transported to a hidden facility beneath Detroit's abandoned auto plants. There, engineer Samantha Gray began the painstaking process of reverse engineering its systems. "Their weapons technology isn't actually that advanced," she reported after 3 days of examination. "It's just been refined over thousands of years. The principles are similar to our theoretical designs. They've just perfected the application." Working day and night, Samantha and her team adapted Tralaxian weapons technology to human manufacturing capabilities. They couldn't match alien production quality, but they could create effective countermeasures. Meanwhile, Earth's military leaders made a revolutionary change in strategy. Rather than maintaining traditional chain-of-command structures, they adopted a decentralized approach. Regional commanders received broad objectives, but complete freedom to determine how to achieve them. This new structure bewildered the hierarchical Tralaxians. Their entire military doctrine relied on targeting command centers and leadership. Now, when they destroyed one resistance hub, 3 more operated independently without missing a beat. Colonial Administrator Drekthar faced increasing pressure from high command. "The humans keep appearing where our models predict they should not be," he reported. "They function without centralized direction, in a way our analysts cannot explain." Earth forces launched simultaneous strikes against Tralaxian outposts across the globe. In Egypt, resistance fighters disabled a major processing center. In Argentina, they destroyed a communication relay. In Japan, they infiltrated and corrupted a Tralaxian database. None of these actions would have been decisive alone, but together they created cascading failures in the alien occupation structure. For the first time, the Tralaxians found themselves responding to human initiatives rather than dictating the pace of conquest. The human capacity for adaptation proved superior to alien technological advantages. When the Tralaxians deployed new sensors to detect resistance fighters, humans covered themselves in mud to mask their heat signatures. When aliens used sound detectors, humans communicated with hand signals. Every Tralaxian solution sparked multiple human countermeasures. 3 months into the occupation, the balance began to shift. Alien patrols ventured less frequently into areas with strong resistance presence. Supply ships arrived more heavily armed, acknowledging increased danger. The easy conquest had become a grinding struggle. Commander Grant watched data streams from around the world, a slight smile forming on his weathered face. "They came expecting sheep," he told his staff. "They found wolves." In orbit, High Commander Vec Thor faced an uncomfortable reality. The Tralaxian Empire had conquered 1,000 worlds, but none like Earth. Here, defeat only seemed to strengthen human resolve. Technological superiority meant little against an enemy that turned your own routines against you. "Send the report to Imperial Command," Vec Thor ordered his communications officer. "Request reinforcements, and include my personal note. These humans are unlike any species we have encountered before. They do not know when they are beaten." The counterattack had begun. Earth wasn't just resisting anymore. It was fighting back. The first sign that not all Tralaxians supported the invasion came unexpectedly. A research vessel landed near the resistance base in the Appalachian Mountains, its pilot broadcasting on human frequencies. "I seek asylum," the message repeated. I bring information vital to your survival. Commander Grant ordered snipers into position and approached the alien craft with a small security team. The Trilaxian who emerged was smaller than the soldiers humans had encountered, with paler blue skin and only 3 eyes instead of 4, a genetic difference that marked him as part of the scientific caste. "My name is Krax," the alien said through a crude translation device. "I can no longer participate in the atrocities committed by my species." Initially suspected as a spy, Krax proved his sincerity by providing detailed information about upcoming Trilaxian operations. After weeks of verification, his intelligence consistently checked out. Krax revealed something humans hadn't known. The Trilaxian Empire was not the unified force it appeared to be. "Our empire spans thousands of worlds, but most were conquered, not willing participants," Krax explained during a strategy meeting. "The military caste dominates our society, but many of us in the scientific and cultural castes oppose the endless expansion." This revelation opened a new front in Earth's resistance. If the Trilaxian Empire contained internal divisions, perhaps humans weren't fighting alone. Colonel Patricia Martinez, who had been running resistance operations in Central America, proposed a daring plan. "If other conquered species resent Trilaxian rule as much as we do, maybe we can establish contact with them." Using modified communications equipment based on Krax's designs, Patricia's team broadcast messages to nearby star systems known to be under Trilaxian control. For weeks, there was nothing but silence. Then came a response from Proxima Centauri, where the insectoid world species had been conquered 50 years earlier. "Your resistance gives us courage," the message read. "We have sabotaged 3 supply shipments bound for Earth. Others will follow your example." One by one, communications arrived from other subjugated worlds. The Trilaxian Empire, for all its military might, had created a galactic powder keg of resentment. Earth's unexpected resistance had struck the first spark. "The Empire has never faced a multi-planet insurgency," Krax explained, his 3 eyes blinking with excitement. "Their control systems are designed to suppress single-planet rebellions, not coordinated resistance across multiple worlds." News of Earth's continued defiance spread across the galaxy. Species that had lived under Trilaxian domination for generations began small acts of resistance, work slowdowns, accidental equipment failures, mysterious delays in resource shipments to Trilaxian military installations. 6 months into the occupation, Earth had become a symbol of hope for oppressed civilizations throughout the sector. Resistance wasn't just about saving humanity anymore. It represented the possibility of freedom for countless other species. This development did not go unnoticed at the highest levels of the Trilaxian Empire. Emperor Zorkath himself took an interest in the troublesome humans. "This contagion of rebellion must be contained," he declared to his Imperial Council. "I am dispatching the 7th Fleet under General Vorexal to crush the Earth resistance once and for all." This news reached Earth through the growing interstellar resistance network. The 7th Fleet was the elite of Trilaxian military power, veterans of 100 planetary conquests. They had never failed to subdue a rebellion. Commander Grant called an emergency meeting of the global resistance leadership. "We've hurt them enough that they're sending their best," he told the grim-faced men and women around the table. "That means we're winning, but it also means the real test is just beginning." Lisa Chen's analysis team worked day and night to prepare for the coming assault. "Based on Krax's information, we have 3 weeks before the fleet arrives," she reported. "We need to be ready." As word spread about the approaching Trilaxian armada, something remarkable happened on Earth. Instead of fear, a quiet determination took hold. Humans had discovered they weren't alone in the universe, and more importantly, they weren't alone in their fight for freedom. The 7th Fleet appeared in Earth's orbit on a clear autumn morning. 50 massive warships, each bristling with weapons that could level cities. On view screens across the planet, General Vorexal's face appeared. A Trilaxian with battle scars across his blue skin, and all 4 eyes narrowed in contempt. "People of Earth," his translated voice boomed. Your resistance has amused the Empire long enough. Surrender now, or we will reduce your world to ash." The message was met with silence. No response came from Earth's governments or resistance leaders. This confused the Trilaxians, who expected either immediate surrender or defiant threats. What they didn't know was that Earth's forces were already in motion. In the week before the fleet's arrival, Dr. Kevin Harris had completed work on a computer virus designed to infect Trilaxian systems. Unlike conventional malware, this virus utilized principles from the aliens' own quantum technology, making it nearly undetectable to their security measures. "It won't shut down their systems completely," Kevin explained to Commander Grant, "but it will create random failures, weapons misfiring, shields fluctuating, navigation systems showing false readings." The plan required getting the virus into the fleet's central network. For that, they needed a delivery system that could reach orbit. Around the world, resistance cells had spent months gathering components for spacecraft. Using Samantha Gray's reverse-engineered Trilaxian technology combined with human innovation, they had built 30 small, agile fighters. These ships weren't designed to win a space battle, just to survive long enough to deploy the virus. Captain William Foster volunteered to lead the space mission. "Think of us as the digital equivalent of a sneeze," he told his pilots. "We just need to get close enough to infect them." On the ground, Major Diana Scott coordinated the global ground assault. Every remaining Trilaxian outpost and command center on Earth would be attacked simultaneously, preventing the aliens from sending reinforcements to their ships. The Earth offensive began at dawn. Foster's makeshift fleet launched from hidden bases around the planet, using the cover of orbital debris to approach the Trilaxian armada. On the ground, resistance fighters struck alien installations with everything they had: improvised explosives, captured alien weapons, and sheer human determination. General Vorgzal watched in disbelief as human ships approached his fleet. These primitives built spacecraft in mere months. He demanded of his officers, "Destroy them immediately." Trilaxian weapons fire-filled space, but the human ships moved in unpredictable patterns that confounded the aliens' targeting systems. 3 human vessels were destroyed in the first exchange, but the remaining fighters pressed forward. Will Foster's ship took heavy damage, systems failing as he approached the Trilaxian command vessel. Almost in range, he reported through static-filled communications. Virus deployment in 30 seconds. On the Trilaxian flagship, alert sirens blared as security systems detected the incoming threat. Too late. Foster's ship managed to establish a brief connection with the alien network before being blown apart. His last act was pressing the transmission button, sending Kevin's virus into the heart of the Trilaxian fleet. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, one by one, alien ships began experiencing failures. Weapons powered down unexpectedly. Shield generators overloaded. Navigation systems showed Earth's fighters in multiple positions simultaneously. Diana's ground forces seized the moment of confusion. Using Mary and John's shield disruptors, they penetrated Trilaxian defenses that had previously been impenetrable. The aliens, receiving contradictory orders from their fleet, fell into disarray. By nightfall, the unthinkable had happened. 7 Trilaxian warships had been disabled by their own malfunctioning weapons. Ground forces had lost contact with their orbital command. For the first time since the invasion began, the aliens were in full retreat. In his flagship, General Vorgzal faced the greatest humiliation of his career. "We cannot maintain orbital position with these system failures," his executive officer reported. "We must withdraw to repair and regroup." Vorgzal stared at the viewscreen showing Earth below. How had these primitives, these humans with their limited technology and resources, managed to drive back the mighty 7th Fleet? "Signal the withdrawal," he finally ordered. "But this is not over. We will return with the full might of the Empire." As Trilaxian ships limped away from Earth orbit, celebrations erupted across the planet. The battle was won, but everyone knew the war was far from over. Still, They had achieved what the Empire had thought impossible. They had fought back. The message arrived 3 weeks after the 7th Fleet's retreat. It came not from Trilaxian Military Command, but from the Imperial Diplomatic Corps, a branch of their government humans didn't even know existed until Krax explained it. The Emperor requests a meeting with Earth representatives. The message stated simply. Commander Grant gathered the Resistance leadership to discuss this unexpected development. It could be a trap, warned Frank Miller, his face bearing new scars from the recent battles. Or it could be the first recognition that they can't defeat us through force alone, countered Dr. Olivia Summers. After heated debate, Earth's leaders decided to accept the invitation, but with precautions. The meeting would take place on a neutral space station at the edge of the solar system, with representatives from other formerly subjugated worlds present as witnesses. Commander Grant and Dr. Summers led the Earth delegation. As their ship docked at the station, Grant couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. 8 months ago, humans had never ventured beyond their moon. Now they were arriving as equals to discuss terms with the Galactic Empire. The Trilaxian delegation was led not by a military commander, but by Imperial Counselor Mexthar, a civilian official whose presence signaled the seriousness of the negotiations. Representatives from 7 other species occupied observer positions around the circular chamber. The Trilaxian Empire acknowledges the unexpected resilience of Earth forces. Mexthar began, clearly uncomfortable with the admission. The Emperor proposes a cessation of hostilities and recognition of Earth's sovereign status. What followed were 2 weeks of intense negotiations. The Trilaxians initially offered merely to leave Earth alone while maintaining control over other conquered worlds. Earth's representatives, speaking not just for humanity, but for their new allies, refused these terms. Freedom isn't just for humans, Olivia stated firmly. Any agreement must include independence for all worlds that desire it. The breakthrough came when Krax and other Trilaxian dissidents publicly joined the Earth delegation. This internal division, broadcast throughout the Empire, forced the Emperor to reconsider his position. The cost of continuing the war now included potential civil conflict within Trilaxian society itself. The resulting treaty transformed the galaxy. The Trilaxian Empire would transition from a conquering force to a commonwealth of independent worlds. Each planet would determine its own governance while participating in a galactic council where all species had equal representation. 3 months after the treaty signing, the first meeting of the new Galactic Council took place. Earth, once considered a backwater planet of primitive bipeds, now held a position of honor. Commander Grant and Dr. Summers represented humanity, with Lisa Chen serving as Chief Strategic Advisor. We gathered here not as conquerors and conquered, Grant addressed the assembled delegates, but as equals with different strengths to contribute. Earth doesn't seek to replace one empire with another, but to build something that has never existed before, a true community of worlds. The years that followed saw rapid advancement. Earth shared its unique approaches to problem-solving and adaptability. In return, former Trilaxian subject worlds shared technologies that accelerated human development by centuries. Ships bearing the Earth-led Alliance emblem began peaceful exploration of previously uncharted regions. On the 5th anniversary of the invasion, a monument was unveiled in what had once been Chicago's war zone. Frank Miller, now serving as Earth's security coordinator, gave a speech that was broadcast across dozens of worlds. We prevailed not because we were stronger or more advanced, he told the assembled crowd, but because we refused to accept defeat. When the Empire laughed at Earth, they didn't understand what they were facing. It wasn't our weapons they should have feared, but our spirit. In orbit, Olivia Summers watched the ceremony from the bridge of the Alliance flagship Discovery. Beside her stood Krax, now serving as science director. My people never understood why your resistance succeeded where others failed, Krax said quietly. But I think I do now. Other species fought because they had to. Humans fought because you believed you could win, no matter the odds. Olivia smiled as Earth rotated below them, its cities rebuilt and thriving. the galaxy expected us to be conquered. Instead, we helped create something better than victory. A future where no species needs to conquer another again.